speaking with DL Scotty Scott, a longtime resident of Hot Springs / Tiersee. He will give us some idea or insight into what our town was like in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Thank you, Scotty, for letting us come into your home and do this. So we'll start out with some questions about you first. When and where were you born?
In Causey, New Mexico, in 1815, June 18th, 1915.
So that would make you how old today?
95.
You do really well for 95. When did you come to Hot Springs?
In November the 8th of 82 to stay. I had been here a number of times before because my father had rheumatism before me, and I suppose I inherited at least an easy way to it. I had rheumatism also.
Well, you said 82. Was it 42?
42 is what I meant to say.
Okay. And you came. Why did you come?
Of course, I had rheumatism. I was down and couldn't work.
And you took the baths?
Pardon?
You took the baths?
I took the baths, and I went to Magnolia Ellis for a few treatments. But the baths were what seemed to take it away from me, and then I was able to go to work.
When Magnolia gave you a treatment, what did she do?
She just moved her hands all over me, just more or less massaged me lightly.
And you think it helped?
I thought it did at the time, yes.
She was quite popular in our town back then.
She certainly was.
Okay, down through the years, what businesses did you own in Hot Springs?
I worked for Allie Heffernan for 35 months in the Chevrolet garage, and then I and another fella bought our own garage and worked for ourselves. Then I bought him out, and I had Date Street Motors for many years, and then I had Hudson dealership in the 1950s, and I sold Hudson cars, and then I branched out because I had trade-ins, and I didn't have room for them downtown, and I bought the acreage in Palomas Canyon, Cachio Canyon, and established a wrecking yard.
Which is still there today.
Yes, which I sold eventually to Ann Wellborn.
You mentioned that you had a Hudson car agency.
Yes.
How many other car agencies were there here at that time?
The ones I can remember were Pop Howe had Ford Garage way back there, and Troy Pendergrass and a fellow named Lewis had bought it out, and they had Ford Garage, and Cecil Wilson had the Chrysler dealership.
Later on, were there more dealers that came in?
Yes, later. I don't know just when Chevrolet came in, but they came in sometime there.
And all of you could sell enough cars to make a living?
Oh yes, we all managed a living. Of course, you didn't need so much for a living then.
What was the town like when you first came? Was there dirt streets or?
Yes, it was dirt streets, little one-way places, just small businesses mostly. I believe Safeway was the largest business for quite a few years, and it was a slow, easy-going town, except at night when the gambling places were open and the drinking places.
How many bars were in town? Do you remember?
I could not count them. There were several, and as I did not frequent any of the bars, I just can't remember. The old Buckhorn is the only one I can remember pretty well.
What about churches?
There were a number of churches, yes. There certainly were. It's always been a pretty heavily populated church town.
In the 1940s, the town was said to be wide open. What did that mean?
It meant that there was gambling any way you wanted to find it, and little slot machines and things like that.
All over
That's
town
right.
or just in certain places?
Well, I suppose they were in certain places. Again, I didn't frequent those places, so I don't know how many there were.
During the war, World War II, how did that affect your daily living?
Well, of course, we were short of gasoline. We were short of, you couldn't buy a new car. You could, but you had to have a real high priority. I think Allie Heffernan had 2 new cars on his floor, and tires were scarce. Otherwise, I couldn't tell it affected me a whole lot. I had to go for an examination, but they wouldn't take me because, in the first place, I was the only mechanic in town, full-time mechanic, and in the second place, I'd had rheumatism, and I wasn't physically able.
What about rationing? What do they mean by rationing?
By what?
Rationing.
Oh, rationing?
Yeah.
Oh, you only got a certain amount of gallons of gasoline a month, and was it sugar that was rationed also? And, I didn't buy the groceries, so I don't remember what else.
Any other ways that you can think of that the town participated in the war effort? What did they do anything special for the war effort?
That I don't, nothing strikes my mind.
I'm trying to get out of it.
Okay. What do you remember, if anything, about the dropping of the atomic bomb just up the road a ways?
Well, I didn't even wake up when it went off. I was a pretty sound sleeper, and the first I knew about it was when I went downtown for something, and everybody was talking about it.
Did they know what it was?
Yes, they did at the time. Mm-hmm.
What did the people living in here in the 40s and 50s, what did they do for entertainment?
Oh, in the churches we had parties, and we had 42 parties with friends, and of course we had dancing at the nightclubs too, and we did participate in some of the dancing at Ash Balls and the Silver Slipper.
I saw a picture of you not long ago you were dressed up like a woman. And you were squatted and you were squatted down, and there was a bunch of other guys behind you dressed like women. What was that all about?
I don't remember. That's something I wanted to forget.
Well, there was another picture that showed all of these men dressed up like nurses, and evidently they were from Carrie Tingley, and you were from the fire department. Could it have been a baseball game?
I guess it's possible, Ann. I don't remember that for some reason.
Well, that would have been part of your entertainment, I think, because you didn't have TV to watch, so you dress up like a woman and go play baseball.